And I know, many of you probably didn't see it. It seems like the ratings were just absolutely terrible for the State of the Union, given that the majority of the people watching turns out were Republicans or Trump supporters, which is why CNN said 76% of the people watching liked the speech, because very few Democrats were watching, although the networks have not released ratings numbers. Or if they have, there's some sort of, deep secret someplace. But I'm curious. But basically what we saw was just, a whole series of lies, misinformation, distortions, fear, pandering to the abortion fanatics in our country. Some of his most outrageous lies. I mean, he came right out and said the United States' economy is hotter than any other economy in the world. Latvia's economy grew faster than ours last year. Poland's economy grew faster than ours last year. China's economy has been growing faster than ours for 20 years. I mean, Greece's economy grew faster than ours. India's economy grew faster than ours. He just lied through his teeth. And everybody applauded, and all the people who were watching, who were Trump supporters, were going, whoa, our president is doing a great job. It's like, my sense of this is that this is the first time that presidential lies have been this big, this blatant, that we almost need a fact checker in real time. In fact, I was sitting there, Louise and I were watching the show on TV, the State of the Union show. Yeah, I guess it is. We were watching the State of the Union on TV, but I had my laptop open to the New York Times, where they were fact checking Trump in real time. And they kept popping up, this is false, this is misleading. Well, this one's true. And it was like, this one is true is like, whoa, he finally said something that wasn't a lie? I mean, he couldn't even get his numbers right. Oh, we added 5.3 million jobs. No, it's 4.9 million. Oh, for the last 2 years, the economy has just exploded. It's all because of me. No, it's been going on ever since Obama became president. There's an urgent national crisis of illegal crossings. No, illegal crossings are lower than they've been since 1971. It's like 50 years. He said El Paso, Texas had one of the worst crime rates in America before they put up the wall. Sorry, it was one of the safest, it was the second safest city of its size in America before they put up the wall. And after they put up the wall, it's still the second safest city in America. In fact, people, millions of people go back and forth across the border every day, many of them in El Paso. He just lied through his teeth. I mean, it was just breathtaking. And then his slam on socialism. America is not a socialist country. That's Venezuela. Yeah, right. So we shouldn't have public hospitals. We shouldn't have first responders. We shouldn't have fire departments. We shouldn't have public schools. These are all socialist programs. State-run and federal-run highway systems. Clean water. We shouldn't have municipal water systems. We shouldn't have national parks. We shouldn't have wilderness trails. I mean, this is socialism, right? We shouldn't have FEMA. We shouldn't have Social Security. That's socialism. It really is. I mean, America is a socialist country. George Washington signed legislation that authorized the first poorhouse that provided medical care, housing, food, and shelter to poor people in Washington, D.C. George Washington, the socialist. And we've been doing it ever since. It just blows my mind. And obviously, this is going to be the big Republican thing. Sean Hannity's all over it all the time. It's abortion and socialism, abortion and socialism, abortion. I mean, it's just over at Media Matters. They've actually got a video you can watch, MediaMatters.org, of Donald Trump saying something and then Sean Hannity saying something, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And basically, Donald Trump's speech last night was Sean Hannity cobbled together. That's how pathetic this all is. Meanwhile, Representatives Ocasio-Cortez, Omar, and Tlaib, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib of Minnesota and Michigan, along with AOC of New York, were all wearing little pins. And again, this should have gotten a lot of media coverage, and it got none. So please tell everybody you know, because the media is not going to do this. They were wearing pins with pictures of Jacqueline. Let me find her last name here. Jacqueline M.A. Rosemary Cal McQuinn. Jacqueline McQuinn. She was a little 7-year-old girl who died in Kirsten Nielsen's custody, in our custody, in a detention camp a couple of weeks ago. And then she's one of 2 children. The other one is Felipe Gomez Alonso, 8 years old. He died also. But they were wearing a picture of this little girl who died. These 3 representatives, Ocasio-Cortez, Omar, and Tlaib. That is powerful stuff. No discussion of it. At the same time that Trump is saying, oh, look at these American soldiers from World War II who liberated Dachau. Dachau was not a death camp per se. They had a crematorium there because so many of their people were worked to death, but it was a labor camp I've been to Dachau. It was right down the road from where I lived when I lived in Germany. It was essentially a labor camp that was run for the benefit of a number of German corporations. And yes, there were some slaughters there, particularly toward the end, but it wasn't like, explicitly set up as a death camp like Belsen-Belsen or Auschwitz, which were just, places to go to die. And now we have 48,000 people who have been refugees seeking refuge in the United States who have been put in concentration camps here in the United States. And now the Trump administration is requiring these people who are not charged with any crime at all. The administration is requiring these people to work for $1 an hour, 10 cents an hour, for nothing in some cases. We're running labor camps, and people are starting to die. 2 little children have died. I mean, they're not dying off in large numbers like they did at Dachau, where you need to have a crematorium or something to. But this, I mean, just the dissonance of him saying, let's honor the guy who was liberated from Dachau, or liberated Dachau, at the same time that he's going off on a rant about illegal immigrants, when A, they're not immigrants, they're refugees, and B, they're dying in our custody. And then he had I don't even want to say chutzpah or anything like that implies, courage. He had the temerity to tell us that he wants to be sure that people with pre-existing conditions are protected, at the same time that his administration is involved in a lawsuit saying that protecting people from being thrown off their insurance because of a pre-existing condition is unconstitutional. That part of Obamacare. See, right now, insurance companies, as long as it's a real insurance policy, cannot bar you or penalize you for having pre-existing conditions. But what's Trump doing? He's promoting these, what are referred to as short-term health plans. They used to be a maximum of 90 days. Now they're a maximum of 3 years. They're super cheap. Trump is like, hey, here's a cheap alternative to Obamacare. Super cheap. Why are they super cheap? Because if you have pre-existing conditions, they don't cover you. And if you get sick and they can figure out that there's any pre-existing condition connected to it, they will dump you. This is amazing. And then he basically said, and you're not going to get any legislation if you keep investigating me. Right. So anyhow, those are my thoughts on the State of the Union. And also, Stacey Abrams, she absolutely kicked it out of the park. She broke the curse, right, that got Joe Kennedy, that got Marco Rubio. She broke that curse. She did a brilliant speech. And she was the first African-American woman to respond to the State of the Union. And this woman has a political future.